There we go. Now I can hit live. Welcome to the stream. Today is a Bellini again. Bellini has become my favorite artist. Yeah. His work was, like, in the beginning when I first found him, he's from the 1400s. And when I first found him, I was like, this is meh. I don't really like his work. I'm not a fan. Why is it so dark in here today? It's gonna be okay. I got the light on. But anyway, I saw his, like, the first time I was looking at his paintings, I was like, kind of whatever. But then I kept staring at it, and Mary always looks so serene. Jesus always looks so much like an actual toddler, like the most floppy baby look ever. It's always different. And in some of them, he's trying to, like, crawl away from Mary's arm, and she's just like, I gotcha, holding you back. And it is just absolutely adorable. Yeah, pretty much I fell in love as soon as I started noticing that. I was like, these are the best. Bellini also was really cool because he painted, like, what did they say? Like 30-odd, 20-odd mother and child, Madonna and child paintings in his life. Like, he just kept coming back to the same topic, which is pretty cool. And is low-key what I'm going to end up doing, so he's good inspiration. This is, okay, I was a fool, and I took all the time to put it on the nice little piece of paper, put it in the box to keep it safe overnight, and then proceeded to forget to close the box, so all the paint dried. But the cadmiums are good still, and that black is, it'll be sufficient. I'm getting some titanium white. How is everyone doing? I hope everyone had a great weekend. Good Mother's Day as well. Oops, I just threw that and it fell. Alright, I need black. Umber. We are also joined by the cat in that giant ball of light behind me. Just taking a nap. Grabbing some yellow ochre, just setting up the palette. This painting, I don't know. I want to do it in one day, but I also don't think I have time. I started a little bit later today on purpose. I think I'm going to end up doing this later every day, a little bit 9:30 instead of 9 o'clock. Because I decided to start doing, I have Alizarin. I need Ultramarine. A sketchbook, an actual straight up sketchbook for the first time in my life. I'm actually going to sketch every day and practice the human face. Because I'll still need practice. And I've been procrastinating doing an actual sketchbook for so long. I'm just, like, not motivated ever to do it. This is, where am I, burnt? Is this the umber I want? Yeah, it's burnt umber. Oh, super juicy. Okay, this is the one that is still so oily. I'm just gonna wipe all of it up. So in order to fit sketching in, I'm gonna start half an hour later so I can sketch in the morning. And hopefully that will motivate me to go a little bit more decisively when I paint the master copies. Is that all the colors I need? I feel like I'm missing 6 colors, but I'm not. Alright, just mush these around a little bit. And I will mix up on the board today. I feel like it's been an eon since I painted. It has been a mere 3 days. Which isn't even my longest delay. Alright, mix up the white. The white feels different today. Why? I don't know. And if you're just joining, welcome. Welcome to the stream. Painting Bellini. This one's the Madonna in Child instead of the Virgin in Child. Basically, all of his Madonna and Child paintings are just called Madonna and Child. There's no differentiation between any of them. They sometimes have... did the Alonso Madonna one of the other days live. And that one's only called that because that's the location that the painting lives. It's just like, what if I just call them all the same thing? I suppose a few of them have specific names. There's like Madonna of the Plains, I think, is that one? The one where it's like a triangle and a Okay, that doesn't mean anything probably to you, but it's a very specific painting that in my mind's eye I can imagine. All right, so that's all the paints. That burnt umber is being too juicy. All right, wipe off all of that, get a clean palette. And let's mix. Do I want to mix the skin tones? I'm not going to start with this. I'm going to start in the background. So I'm just going to mix a little bit of background color and then veil color. And hopefully I will get to the face today, maybe. We'll see. I don't want to rush it. Best way to ruin a painting is to try to go too fast. And then either run out of time so you can't get all the details in, or just mess it up irrevocably. I'm going to add a little bit of cad yellow. No, I'm going to add a little bit of yellow ochre to these sky colors. So I'm starting in the sky. So I'm just doing ultramarine and white, and then a little bit of yellow ochre to give it that sort of old feel. And so it's not so bright. Bright. This ultramarine is very vibrant, and it'll look better against the veil if I have a little bit of the yellow in it in the sky versus the veil, because the veil is going to be very much like ultramarine with black with very little light, and so that purity of the veil is going to be contrasted by the slight imperfections of the sky color. That and varnish does that exactly. Varnish yellows over time. So if this scan was taken, you know, before or after restoration, it will look different. But usually varnish makes your paintings look yellow over a long time, not immediately, but over a long time. But that's the whole point. You're supposed to take varnish off and restore a painting every once in a while. Give it new life. Okay, I'm kind of just mixing colors. I don't know. I don't know. I should just get colors on the board and then adjust. All right, so just going with that. Starting simply. Because I also noticed that pretty much every day I do this. I mix all of the flesh tone colors, and then I don't get to the flesh tone, to the face, and then I'm sad. Also, there's weird, like, can you tell? Can you tell? There's like drip lines. There, and there. I wonder if that's the scan or the varnish. The things you might know if you worked in a museum. All right. This is... Oh, I'm going to add a little bit of black as well, because that'll tone it down and be more blue as well. Yeah. I probably should have used the even bigger brush than this. I'm going to ignore those weird drips in the sky and pretend they don't exist. I have 2 master copies planned for this week. This one, and then I looked it up yesterday what his name was. Who painted that one? Oh, it's way over there. Oh, there's another My Learning Child. And that one is very... Hold up. I need to establish the focus. That one's a really weird one. What am I doing? That I need more time to paint on. I have a memento mori still life that I'm super excited about, but I keep going live and then not painting anything else in the day. I'm supposed to come back and paint later, but I always forget or get distracted, as you do. All right, so this one's a lot more yellow, but it needs to go darker. We're gonna grab some of this one, and more yellow. I added too much white. All right, let's see what that does to this guy. I just put my finger in some paint. Oh, okay. All right. Do I like this color? I don't even know. It's like I like it for the sky, but I don't know if I like it as a comparison to the actual Bellini. Where's that line? This line goes all the way down to here. I want to really... No, I don't. I was going to say really vibrant blue. And then I remembered what I said 5 minutes ago, that I wanted the veil to be extra blue. That is a white cloud. Alright, just laying down a thin layer of paint. And getting right up to the edge. Okay. Keep my hand out of the focus distance. This is the corner that gets hit with the, that thing. What is that thing called? The light. The glare! It gets hit with the glare the most. So if I mess up the brush strokes, I'm just hitting glare. I don't see it as much from my angle, but I know you guys see it, so I'm gonna get it out. Also, though, thinking about that now, however, this piece will be lighted eventually, or, you know, an actual piece would be lighted eventually. Minimizing glare with brushstroke direction helps in the long run, so that in, for instance, a museum or a gallery, they can get it lit really nicely. And so in your own home, if you buy the painting, it will be lit nicely from the right angle. All sorts of little considerations. That is light. This is the dark part is to right here. Alright, this isn't nearly as green, and I am ceasing to care. I like the color enough. Making sure there's not as much of a transition right there between the veil and the sky, because I was kind of getting a line. Alright, I'm going to grab a new brush and I'm going to do the white cloud and then work them back together. As soon as I deposit just a little bit more paint up here. Alright, new brush. I'm gonna go... Why does that one feel wet? It's weird. Alright, I'm gonna go with the... I was gonna say bigger brush, but I really should use the bigger brush for this first part. Moral of the story is I'm gonna run out of brushes. It's always useful to have the same brush in multiple sizes. I'm sorry, that was literally the opposite direction of what I was trying to say. The same sized brush multiple times. Because then you can get one be light, medium, dark, use it in different parts of the painting, and maintain that brush in safekeeping. So you can go back to it if you want to adjust something from the past. I just got that on the side. So I found that helps a ton, because then you're not just in love with the one brush and you're trying to paint the entire painting with just one brush, because then you're going to get lots of muddy colors. It does hurt, though, the first time you buy like 6 of the same sized brush and you're like, why am I doing this? Why am I spending all this money on the same brush? But it really is worth it. Alright, I'm I'm just gonna kind of do something, a little something, something there. I'm gonna use this. I'm gonna use the light brush first off down here for the edging around the mountain, which is just such a lovely little addition in the background of this painting. And I'm suddenly blanking on what the entire painting originally looked like, but I like this little corner. Adding a little bit more white. Actually, I'm gonna add a little bit of white ochre. This is where it's helpful to have some of the colors mixed for the face, but that's okay. That ended up being really dull. I'm gonna add a little bit of cad yellow. Alright, that doesn't look nearly light enough, but I'm moving on. I need to see it with more colors first. I'm gonna get a bigger brush. And grab some of this nice creamy. That definitely needs some yellow. I've already committed to the yellow everywhere else. And I'll just do this little down area. This is the Madonna that I was talking about on one of the other streams a while ago that I think might be, it's not my favorite actually, I already painted my favorite one from Bellini, but this is my second favorite because look at this little chin. Look at her face. She looks like a high schooler. Like when I cropped it in on her face, I was like, why does she look exactly like someone I went to high school with? Like not in particular, but like, you know, that feel of high school, that innocence of youth, the slightly pudgy face. Just beautiful. Because Mary would have been 14, roughly, when she said yes to the angel Gabriel. She was a high schooler. Just love how Bellini catches the humanity of all of the religious, and like both her and Jesus. It's a big emphasis on the humanity of them. I want to add a little bit of variation in this guy, but I kind of don't want to mess it up. Let's go for it. Okay, I'm just making glare. Okay. And I'm not worried about this edge getting a little bit of paint in it because I'm going to be painting into the paint and I want to have a nice smooth edge, so having a little bit of paint there is helpful. This is getting hit by glare. But I also don't want to smooth it out all the way because other portions of the face in particular, will have more brush stroke variation, so I don't want to make it super smooth. And I found I kind of like the look of things when it has a little bit of on it. Alright, we're just going to leave it at that. It doesn't need to be. The sky is not the focus. It's just establishing a little bit of value and color. And it'll make it look more complete when I'm done. Okay, I just butchered the shape of that mountain. Wow, okay. Whatever. New brush. No, I don't want that one. I want this one. I do need some, okay, I need to make that color. This like, whatever that is. Which is black. Umber. A little burn umber. Yep, that's what I want to use. Okay, I'm gonna get some burnt umber and some ochre. And that'll be the kind of in-between color. And I'm gonna call that good. I wish my camera could focus on the background because my cat is being super cute. But it won't because the light is too good. But she's over there and she's sleeping and it's adorable. And I'm done now. But she's really cute. Oh my goodness. Alright, just laying some of this in. This is a nice juicy color because the burnt umber is extra juicy today. Once again. Definitely should have painted that lighter spot first. Let's do that. I'm grabbing the lighter color out. I just want to grab a round to fix this edge. I will. Or actually, no, I'll grab my tiny little filbert. She's entirely asleep and spasming. For dreams, not because, yeah, okay. Okay, we're grabbing the white that has, or the lighter yellowish one that's got some extra white in it. And actually, I think it's showing the background. It's a little bit of pink, but I'm going to add a little bit of burnt umber to pinken that up. Alright, and try to reestablish this mountain shape. Some sort of fashion that looks a little bit more accurate. And then this sky really does fade up more than I gave it. And then up here. Oh boy. We're just going to go through and do one little pass. I'm trying to make this cloud look a little more fluffy. So establishing a highlight as it curves through space. And just a little bit over there. And then it kind of blends into this lower color a bit more. I like keeping my brush active when I paint. It just feels comfortable. A lot of people will do like one brush stroke at a time. Mad respect if you can do that, but not me. Oh wait, I just almost went back to the tree and then I realized this is not. Yeah, that needs to be blended. Boop 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 boop. Just looking at it in the comparison. Oh, she's awake. Are you gonna come over here? You know you can't sit on my lap while I paint. Alright, I want this to look less like a strip and more like a cloud. Here she goes. Okay. I'll call that good. Oopsies. Actually, no, that's fine. We need to come back in with a tiny brush and do those individual leaves that are popping in. But for now, that's a good enough shape. And then it has a little bit of line of black, and then we're gonna grab a new brush and this lighter ochre burnt umber color. which is a great mix. Very thin though. I'm gonna give it a tad of white and a little bit more yellow ochre, just to give it a little bit more opacity. It's not really helping. It's helping a little bit. Really just needs more paint. This is an okay brush to add some variation of within the darks. But I'm going to keep it out of the highlight of the sky because that wants to be really dark. In comparison, good contrast there as it's in the foreground. I'm going to mix the two, the dark and the medium together. I just grabbed the wrong one. I wanted the medium. What am I doing? Just adding some blah 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 until it looks good. That's the technical term. Loading up this brush, which it's got a little bit of fuzzy to it. I probably don't want that because it's gonna blend more than deposit paint, but it's already dirty. Not much to say here, except to say, if you haven't liked the stream, like the stream. And if you're not subscribed, just check. Just check if you're subscribed. It's a new channel. Very new channel. And I intend to be live most days of the week. So if you subscribe and then hit the little bell, you'll be notified. And you won't miss out. I just made the entire thing a little bit darker. Add a little bit of white. I think I'm gonna need to. No, I'm not gonna say it because I don't want to do it. I don't want to come back. Point is to learn how to be accurate in one pass. To be definitive, direct. Mix the right colors the first try. Or the first go, maybe not the first try. Which, if you're wondering why I'm doing a master copy instead of coming up with my own concept of painting that live, that is why. This is practice. That, and if I'm working on an actual piece that's original, I'm not confident enough. Need a little bit more space to focus in. So I won't be doing those live. But this is a fun little thing. And anyone can learn to do this. This is a really fun, just way to paint. Low stress, you don't have to worry about so many things. You just look at what the masters did and try to do it the same, and then learn why they did it and how it works, why it works, and then apply it to your own art. Also, I do believe this one is at the Met. Is it at the Met? I don't know. One of the two from this week is from the Met. And the Met has scanned all of their, all the paintings that are on display. And they're online. And you can do like essentially a virtual tour of the museum. But they're on there and you can also download them. So you can get really nice high quality scans, which is key. I have fallen prey to the false sense of security that it's okay if the scan isn't good enough. I'll make quirk. No, it doesn't work. You need a good scan. I'm going on to the veil. Alright, I'm gonna need some ultramarine and black, which I'm running out of black. We'll do it... Why does it feel like I have so much space here on camera, but I feel like I have no space in life? I'm gonna do it on this side, though. Yeah, there. Just ultramarine. Ooh. That's we'll add a little bit there. Ultramarine and black will be the base. It gets quite dark, especially on the right side. And the ultramarine will hide in the black, but add a lot of chroma, and that'll look really nice. And then I do want straight ultramarine, but I'm gonna need a little bit of white. That'll be good for the highlights, and then ultramarine itself will be good for all of the really intense spots of near darkness. Wipe that off and then mix this together again. This has a little bit of black in it as well. But I need more ultramarine. That mountain is very off. I'm gonna fix it after I get more ultramarine. Gotta smooth white on it. Hey, get out of here. I think it's gone. No, it's not, but that's okay. It's good enough. Alright. There's the blue. Grab this, and that's not the color I want. I want this sort of medium sky color. And this does a little boop right at the end. Boop up. Make it look a little bit more like an actual mountain. More variation. Also, since I'm here, I'm going to cut in a little bit. Meh. Cool. New brushes. We're going to start with the black ultramarine. I need a lot more paint than that. There is not really much variation to this back here, so I'm just going to lay it all in as a preliminary color, and then I can go back in with a little bit of my throat just died. A little bit of the lighter colors. Whoopsies. But for the most part, this wants to recede. Also, I lost this corner. It comes out a bit further and then comes down. And then I'm going to want to make this edge look less harsh. So I'm going to go back in a minute and blend it a little bit, smooth it into the sky. So it doesn't look like Mary's been cut out and placed on top of the sky, but that she belongs with this entire painting. Oopsies. And I'm running out of paint. To be fair, I didn't put out extra black. But there's a lot of paint in here I could really do to move it around. that. This little triangle is the lighter spot, and then we have some dark up there. Leaving it kind of rough there so I can blend it into the white of the veil. And then here, this will be really good because this is a super simple mix, black and ultramarine. So when I come back and do the face, if this is dry, like tomorrow, I can easily re-blend this color. So I try to keep my simplest mixes on the edges so that I can work back in and actually find the color fast instead of sitting there and trying to mix 14 different colors together to find that one perfect shade. Why is this little triangle so tiny? It is much bigger in real life. There's a little bit of there. There's a little bit on this side of this giant triangle. And it just got paint in the background. A little bit on this side, but it's not quite as dark, so I'll keep it thin. And then it does come down this entire edge. And then there's just a little bit here. I need more black. Where's the black? There it is. Stick a little bit there. This tube is holding on quite a long time. Surprising how much paint there is that just sits right at the front. All right, some black, some ultramarine. Lightly going on these two to blend the edges together like I was saying. Get rid of that high ridge right on the edge. That was a really intense bit of the black ultramarine. And smoothing it out. Up. Well, first off, it doesn't stop for so long, but it usually does keep the recording. And that's really what I want as well. I like them time lapses for the Instagrams. I'm gonna grab the darker color and do that edge. And then once again, blend that in. Oh, it's back! Yay! Okay, hopefully it doesn't lag again. And hopefully it did save everything. Because that would be sad. I just put dark where I want light. I just did it again. That wants to be... What am I doing? Too excited about it not being laggy anymore. Not focusing on the art. Yes. Welcome back. Thanks for coming back and sticking through the lag. Oh boy. I just got really distracted by the lag and I wasn't painting very well. This needs to come out. Smooth that in, and then it needs to come back out here and leave a tiny little bit of light. And then it needs to come down here with darkness. I just put down a lot of paint. Now it's really slippery. I'm gonna go over here, deposit some of it off my brush. Pretty soon I want to get off the filbert train and onto the round train, because it's a little bit easier to add some variation and not do such straight lines. Because usually with the rounds I'm doing little circles. But I just need to cover this one little spot, and then I think I'm good to go for that. Let's go. I'm thinking, let's go with this longer medium. And I'm going to load it up with, what color is it least like? I'm going to make a dark medium light. It's got a little bit of the yellow ochre in it. It's going to have a little bit of white. It's mostly going to have the more neutral colors. And that'll be a good in-between color to blend in and get the edges of the dark and the ultramarine, at least for a little bit. And then I'm going to need like 3 more brushes. I'm going to need a brush right now. I want just ultramarine on this one, with just a tad bit of white to give it some, to reveal some of the brightness, because ultramarine by itself is an extremely dark color. Adding in those transitions. Basically everywhere where I have edges meeting of 2 different colors, I want to add a little transition there, add a little blending, smoothing, so that none of it has a sharp transition. And this entire thing needs to go darker. Because everything in this painting is very smooth, not very impressionistic or brush strokey like you would see in a Sargent or a Zorn. This is almost ear-shaped. I was drawing ears in the sketchbook yesterday. And ears are very strange. There's so many different planes and variations, and it's kind of easy to make the feel of an ear, but very difficult to make it look like exactly the ear of the person. We're just gonna follow the shapes though, mimic the colors, and that should get it really close. I'm gonna smooth out this edge and stop using that brush because that one's not smoothing it out very well. I need a bit of a thicker brush that has a little more oomph behind it. Not that one, it's too dark. You can kind of tell as soon as you put the brush down whether or not it's going to deposit the color you want. Okay, that was a really stupid thing to say. When blending the edges, you want to find something that's a little bit in between the two, I find, and it helps a lot to get that edge nice. Rather than brushing with a perfectly clean brush, I find that pulls up too much of the paint and moves it around, and usually gets the dark and the light and is annoying. But having a brush that has a little bit of that in-between color, as I call it, really helps to bridge the gap and just provide a nice smooth transition. Where's the not pure ultramarine brush now, which I think needs a little bit more white. Yeah, I'm gonna get a new brush as well, and make one that's lighter so that I can preserve that one if I want it for something else. Grab some of the cloud colors since I won't be using those really much anymore. But it does not want to be this light. Grabbing some of the brown colors to tone this down. Okay, this shape, what is it doing? bit of a, it comes up to a point before it turns back down around. So the highlight is going to be closer to the side. And then it's not as light at all over here, even as it turns towards lightness. So we're going to skip that little spot and move down to here and add a little bit of this. That's going to be too much, but I'm going to work into it, I think. It's a bit too light as well. I'm going to go down here. This entire little corner bit is, for some reason, very dark. Oh yeah, that was the part that I just blatantly placed dark. Distracted painting. Alright, I need the muddled medium color. Do a little bit more edging. I'm going to bring it into this and shape this a bit more accurately. This is also a bit of an opaque light, just because it has a tad bit of white in it. So it softens the whole shadow, and I'm going to try to keep it out of the actual shadow parts. What am I depositing there? Alright, the center of the brush is darker than the outside. Cat's back. I'm gonna grab the Ultramarine brush and bridge some of these gaps. Y'all. It is so loud. She likes laying on the tissue paper that I used to wrap the rosaries. Okay, she stopped. Also, every time I look over there, I get blinded by the light. I can't see. I'm gonna model this a little bit. Give it a little bit of variation, so it's not so perfect. If the cylinders of the fabric look too, well, if they look too perfect, they look like cylinders of, I don't know what I'm trying to say. It'll come to me. Like a can of soda or something. It'll look too man-made. There it is. Instead of the organic shape that it actually is. Never ceases to impress me how fast cats can fall asleep. Alright. I need to be a little bit quicker because I want to get to the other side of the veil and onto the white. Perhaps? Perhaps? Maybe? This needs a little bit of darkness right on the edge. Oh, it also needs like a little pinch in right there. know how I feel about that triangle. I feel like it got a little low. Whoo! I just pulled down the white instead of pushing up the dark. I'm gonna do a little bit of changing. I'm starting to start seeing things. I need a brush for the dark. Because it pinches in the most right here. And then this dark is a little bit too far out. And then I need the light. It's starting to encroach on the territory. And it needs to be pushed back. Whoa, it's a bit light. There's a bit of a highlight there. And then the shape of this, the direction is going like, it wants to feel more like it's just there. So I need to delete some of the brush strokes. You know, the more I do these lives, the less language I use and the more sound effects. I hope it makes sense. Certainly makes sense in my head. This also needs to come down just a little bit. There's a little bit of a divot here that needs to be established. Some of getting rid of that is noticing where auxiliary shapes are being formed by the fabric. Like that little divot. And am I ready to move on? No, because this one is now too loop. It needs to pop out a little bit farther. And encroach on that shape. And then also, again with the straight lines, this has become too much of a singular shape and it needs to become more dynamic. And then it comes in just a little bit further here before curving back. Yeah, that helps a lot. And then that darkness will come in a little bit farther into here. With alla prima, you're generally going to see brush strokes forever. So if you don't like that look, doing a layered painting will get rid of brush strokes a lot more. But if you like that sort of brush strokey look, alla prima, or like doing a indirect painting where you paint in a lot of layers. What am I doing? That was not supposed to be dark. Don't mind me. Practicing in alla prima wet into wet helps build a brushstroke repertoire. So even if in the beginning, like in the beginning, my brushstrokes always looked horrible in alla prima. I was always pulling up paint. But doing it more makes it less like I'm just smushing paint down and more like I'm actually getting accurate with the brushstroke and using the brushstroke to help create form and texture. I don't really know what I'm doing over here. I'm just throwing a new little layer of color. It needs to have some white in this shape. It also needs to stop being so straight as well. Less linear, more dynamic. And I'm going to use, this is the Ultramarine brush. I'm going to pull this all the way up here. I think I am going to go back in with this one. Okay, so the light, which I've totally lost my light color. Hello. Hello. Come back, please. Is that going to be too light? That's okay. It really comes up here, and then there's a, not really a secondary part of it. It just kind of is lighter. Or, I mean, darker. And then this side is really light. So really I want to deposit a lot of this. And then it'll fade to darker right on the edge as it touches next to the gold and into the darkness. And then I need a slightly darker version of this for in this shadow shape. There's one here. And a shorter one here. Going all the way down to the edge. This is more the Ultramarine brush. No, this is the mixed shady color brush. Add a little bit of it on the edge. I'm gonna do the gold next to finish off this little area. I am gonna use this medium brush. I'm gonna make it go a little bit darker with just more ultramarine. And make it go a little bit lighter because it's a little dark, especially mixed into the dark. It needs to be lighter than I expect, so that as it touches the paint on the canvas, it blends to the correct color that I want. Okay, and then this wants to come down through here, and we're going to variate this dark black shape with just a little bit of blue. I was going to say warmth, but that doesn't make sense. Variate it with light. Okay, there's a little bit of darkness in there that I need to replace. For now, we're going to keep variating. I don't even know if you can tell the lighter that I'm adding. It's very similar to the black. But I know it's going to contaminate the black and make it look less dark. And then bringing this just in a little bit. This shape is not perfect like I have it right now. It's got a little bit more of a darker variation on the top and the bottom as it comes out from the edge of this curve. The ultramarine brush. This is much more blue and vibrant, but I like that better. I really love the way a pure ultramarine mantle looks on Mary. such an intense color. Adding in little creases down here that are going to fade almost immediately. And then this kind of goes like, it needs to go like the other direction. How do I feel about that? It gets not doing too much waving. It needs to be straighter. As I said, they don't. I don't want it to be like perfectly straight, but it's now curving too much. All right, we're just gonna fuzz this entire thing. So I also think it's a little bit too late. Actually, that's better. That already is better. Doesn't want to curve out with the brightness of that, but it does want to go straighter down. And then I lost some of the light down here. Okay, somehow, how did I not notice this? That needs to go out. Oh my, what? That was the light brush. Why was there dark on it? Get out of here. And then it kind of comes over as well. That's because I moved it up. And then it needs to go a little bit darker. The dark, I can tell, has some light on it. How do I feel about that? Also, this little bit, the edge that leaves off the canvas is far more important than I remember. And then I make this just too abrupt of a transition. Or too large of a transition. It needs to be more abrupt, taking up less space. Is that a good start? It needs a little bit. I think this little tube here needs a little bit more variation. Right here, it catches the light a little bit, and then it turns and goes down. There's a bit of a highlight down this edge. I have it being too flat. The cat is shaking the table, and therefore shaking the tripod mount. I was like, I'm not moving. Why is the camera moving? It's okay though, because she's super cute. Okay, trying to find this highlight edge. Can't really see it in the video. Which means I'm going to emphasize it just a little bit more. This edge also needs to abruptly transition in this space. And then down here. There's a little bit of I don't know, not straight black right here. And I'm going to try to get rid of it a little bit. Except now I'm just creating brush strokes that I need to disintegrate. Okay, I'm leaving it there. Also, I'm seeing that I somehow lost the thickness of the gold, if I could find the words. I'm gonna go to that. I'm gonna use this burnt umber ochre mix, and use that as the base up here. I'm gonna add just a little bit of alizarin. It's just a little bit warmer. It also is darker, so I'm gonna add some raw umber. It's pretty much the same color as this entire area, because it is turned back into a shadow. And then the edge has a nice little gold highlight. So I'm avoiding the left edge and then mixing into the blue on the right side, which I actually didn't even adjust that part of the veil, I just remembered. There also is a little bit of a highlight on that side. The center of this little thing is a little bit darker. Imagine like that, and then this. I'm gonna kind of just tap in color and start to sort of mimic this scallopiness of the edge. And then this needs to push over. And then there's a nice big light highlight right there, and then it goes into darkness. And I just realized that's where the line goes, and I totally neglected to paint that entire little area right here. And then since I have this brush out, this is also kind of getting dry. So adding a second layer is perfect time to do that, and it'll help blend into the gold, except not small regrets, because the gold is going to be white with yellow and this is blue and black, and mixing that together make green. We don't want green, but if we're careful, it'll make it really easy to make a nice soft edge. This is also really dark next to this, and then there's a slight highlight right there that I'm skipping. finessing that, coming in here. The blending in I did with the background's a little too abrupt, but working with it, I can give it the appearance of still being smooth while having a little bit of a, I don't know, working into that blurred edge. This has a little bit more variation in shape. It's not quite so flat of a line. As the fabric turns around the head, and then it hits a fold right there as well. Oh, no, 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 no. I'm going to grab the Ultramarine and use that as the light. This has probably a little bit of white in it, but very, very little. It's going to pop the chroma in the shadow, especially under the correct lighting. Coming back to this edge. And then there's two spots that's going to want the slightly more, one with a little bit more white in it. Right here. This cuts in a little bit. And it has a bit of darkness right on the edge. But now I'm kind of encroaching on the gold just a little bit. Alright, last part is right up here, where it's dark on the edges, and then slightly light in the middle. The shape is really important to note, because often when I want to draw a mantle, I forget that the top sticks out usually from the head instead of laying flat against it. It's really tempting to be like, hood lay flat. When in reality it picks up because it can't curve the edge of the head. Especially when it has some sort of edging on it. So like this gold edging would make it a lot stiffer. Alright, back to the gold. I kind of finished down here, except for right on the edge. That's where it goes light. And then I done left a little bit too much space up here. That's okay. Okay, I just put that right into the darkness. It does actually have a light glow right on the edge next to the dark. Just grab the one that had a little bit more white in it. It's probably not going to help because I added the black by accident, but meh. There we go. Pulling out some of that paint. Alright, on this variation, I'm going to add the center that is slightly darker Doing this before the light of the gold. So I probably won't be able to touch it very much once I put that in, because it's going to be too easy to muddle that edge into green. And then that edge needs to go darker. Alright, I'm gonna grab a new brush and do the yellow. Oop. Oh, I'm gonna do it. A little bit of that has green in it. So you know what? That's okay. Good yellow and white. Wondering how much red I want to put in. Just a tiny bit of cad red, a little bit of yellow ochre, which I find makes a really lovely golden color. Let's see. Okay. Wipe it off before I get more paint. It also goes up further. This is really where it doesn't matter if you trace or draw or whatever you do for lines. At some point, when the lines are all covered, you have to rethink drawing. Oh my goodness. You also have to learn how to use paintbrushes. Just got that blue everywhere, but that's okay. So comes this way. Ooh, mixing. And then, gosh, my hand is so shaky, I never can do straight lines like this. I want to add a little bit of the brown for this edge. So it really doesn't stand out as much as I have. Oh my goodness. No, 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 no. Okay. You know what? That's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I might need to come back in when it's dry. Which means I can do it tomorrow as well. This kind of thing is best done when it can't blend with the other colors around it. But I also do kind of like the look that it gets when it's slightly mixed in. Oh no! What happened to my internet? Not again. It doesn't even that long. It usually takes a lot longer to do it. How do I open widget? Okay, well, let's read this. Okay, I don't know if it's too laggy for you to understand me right now. Wait, it says YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. As such, view the widget. The widget simply says error. Thanks. 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 That tells me no. Nothing about how to fix it. It's just like for your information. It's dying. Have fun. Thanks, YouTube. My goodness. Well. Okay, my internet is back up, but YouTube has not caught up. Okay, we're just gonna keep going like it's not bad. And you know, one of these days I will figure out how to actually have a smooth stream that has no errors. That day is not this day. Don't stab the camera with the brush. Alright, I'm gonna finesse this edge back. There we go. You know, not gonna lie, I don't really understand streaming software. But I know our internet's okay. It could just be the computer. I'm streaming on a laptop. Because this is my computer. It's the only one I own. Okay, it's back up. It's fine. YouTube just likes to stress people out, apparently. I wonder, here's a real question for if you're watching, especially live, but also after if you want to do a comment. Do you know what Twitch is? And should I stream on Twitch? I figured more people knew what YouTube was in this sphere, since Twitch is much more gaming. But I wonder if I would have the same problems if I streamed on Twitch. Could try it out. So if you prefer one or the other, if you know what Twitch is, just let me know, please, because I'm interested. And I really debated between the two for a really long time, but I figured this one's easier. I already have the YouTube channel, and it's easier to find it. You don't have to download an app if you're doing this on your phone. You can just open up the YouTube app, which you probably already have. So that was the thought. Also, I don't even know if this is a problem on YouTube's end, because looking at my thing, OBS has the 0 bitrate little thing. So I don't know. It's probably just the internet. Yeah. Alright, there's all these little bits where you can see the canvas beneath, and I don't like that. So I'm kind of just going in and making little circles, doing a little bit of scumbling to push paint into all those spots. And I want to do that with the light, I think. I'm going to add a little bit of the burnt umber back up here to make it warm. I already did this once, but this edge, I want it to have a warm highlight. It's also not that white. It is really muted. It just looks really light because the colors around it are very dark. Ah! Okay, getting white where I don't want white. All right. Okay, that is too dark. So I'm not getting the fantastic little bits of hinted at patterning that Bellini has. His trims on his veils are always so really detailed. If he puts a trim on, he doesn't always. Actually, I think he always does. Oh, he always does. Look at that. This is my 4th Bellini that I painted, and I have one more. It also helps that for whatever reason, Bellini's paintings are all well scanned. All right. Whoa! much more do I want to do on this before moving on? I think I'm just gonna leave it at that. It's not as bright, but I think most of that is because I can't get the detailing because there's too much paint. And that is something I can easily do with a quick little one pass tomorrow when it's dry. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it and I will edit it tomorrow if I so desire. Or I might leave it. It's not like, it doesn't look awful, you know, visually as its own painting. It's, well, it's a little scuffed. Okay, hold on. Ooh, a bit thicker. We'll just do that. And then, yeah, I will go back and do a little bit more tomorrow. All right, on to the white of the, what? Yeah, okay. I was like, why did I leave that little bit? That's because that's white. New brushes. I think I have like almost, like most of the colors kind of prepped. Where, this is the medium tone. Where, I did not, okay, I see what I did. Okay, this is the zigzag, and then this entire shape. What is this line? The darker area? Okay, now that needs to be a little bit more brown. But that's a pretty good start. It's a bit more white. I'm gonna kind of just do this a little bit roughly. There's a lot of detail and transitions in the mantle. I mean, this is the actual veil. I suppose it's more of a head cover. Technical terms, it doesn't matter. So I'm gonna just kind of find my way through it. Place color as I see it, and sort of form and shape as, kind of as one would with sculpting. You know, you start with the rough shape and you slowly make it come to life. I just added black ultramarine with white, and that is going to be really blue. Oh, so blue. It's kind of a nice... It's too light though. I'm going to add a bit of the brown. I like these kind of mixes that I've already have on the palette, so I'm going to utilize some of them. Also because if I don't use them, they will go in the trash, which will be sad. How dark does the dark part of the veil go? Not this dark. This is a bit cool. Warm it up. Just a tad. Ooh, that's too much. A bit too much. That's lighter, but there's a bit of a darkness there. That's a really dark shape. I probably should go in and do the dark shapes first, but I don't really want to. I'm gonna add just brown to this. Try to find something that looks good here. Okay. I think it's got too much color, so we gotta tone it down, but find a nice sort of linen color, because it's not gonna want to be just white. But it also is getting way too blue. I am trying to maintain a thinness to the paint, so that I'm not gonna be fighting it when I try to put details in. Oh, this beautiful thing. I'm going to paint it as if the gold detailing is not there, and then I will paint the gold detailing on top tomorrow. This is a weird color. Okay, we're going to table this brush for a second and get something that I can do for the darks. which is probably going to be umber, whatever this thing was, plus some alizarin, which I'm fairly certain that's literally the 3 colors I use now. I don't think I use black, except for in some spots. But I do want to have it have a little bit of white, because it's a white fabric. And that is somehow too blue. I mean, brown. It needs to be more blue. There's a lovely little interplay going on in the veil. You can almost see the white, or the tone of the canvas back here. That's probably the color used. Peeking through the brushstrokes. And that's creating warm notes. And then it would reflect some of the blue normally anyway. So it is appropriate for it to have some blue shifts. White is such a weird color to paint. Okay, so there's some variations here. Here. This comes up and does some nice shifts. Oh, this was the dark brush. Oops. I added a lot of white to it. I'm going to want to place that darker, excuse me, I keep my throat today. But I want to place a little bit of this to establish that color for the next parts. And that's a little bit, not quite so burnt umber. It's a little bit more blue. And then it definitely shifts blue around here. It's almost black. All right, more paint. Down here. Ah! Okay, back to the dark medium color. Just finding some more of the shadows. Oh wait, that actually is a hard edge. My bad, my bad. I need to adjust that edge because I'm getting a little too muddled there. Also, this edge, okay, let's just go to the blue-black. Alright, I think that's most of the dark. I'm gonna go back to the medium light brush. It's probably gonna be way too dark. That is light. This needs a bit of a dark. Finding everywhere but where there's pure white. Or the highest of lights. Which will probably not be pure white. Bit of bounce light there. Back to this brush to fill out this area. Really got a bit of those edges. And a bit more of a light. Can you hear her snoring? It's so loud. I don't know, maybe the music covers it. No data again! Thanks, OBS. Thanks, Internet. It's fine. Oh, it's back! Oh my goodness. I can't even. I refuse to look at that anymore. Anyway, I'm more confident painting now because I've been painting for, the whole morning. And I lost my train of thought. And there's more stuff on the canvas, so I can more easily judge if a color is close or very not close. A lot faster now that the whole part is neck. Alright, I want a brush that's going to be pretty much white. So I need a new brush. Yeah, we're going to try using pretty much just pure white with whatever little bit is stuck on here. No, it's very blue. Okay. Add some burnt umber, raw umber. We're going to make it be really light. I shouldn't be mixing with this brush because now it's super fat on paint, but that's okay. We will delicately deposit the paint on the painting. I'm gonna leave that really chunky. Why the words that I use so weird? I'm gonna leave it like that though. Just for a moment, and then I'll go back in, I think, with a filbert, and I'll even all that out. This is pretty light underneath this gold. Around. Come here. The real question will be, if the stream quality is bad when I end the stream, will I still receive the recording? And will it save itself on YouTube for rewatching without as much ridiculousness? Nobody knows. I don't really know. There's something going on here that I'm not painting right, but we're just gonna fuzz it and walk away. I find myself grabbing more... I just got distracted by something on the camera and okay, anyway. Painting with more white on my brush, because white's easier to move around when you have more of it on. Just because that's how white do be. It's a weird color. It needs a bit of darkerness in there.